So we have a very real problem in the USA, both culturally and economically. I want to chat with you about this, and I want to hear from people who are outside the US. Do you have the same problem in your country? I want to go through a couple of headlines. You'll kind of get a sense of where we're going, and let's jump right in. So this was the first one, just came out a couple days ago. America is one big casino now. And then you have this one here. More men are addicted to the crack of the stock market. And then you also have this one. Labor force participation among US born American men has plunged amid soaring immigration. It's interesting because I'm throwing these all together, and this last one here is from Fox News. You'll kind of get a sense of where this is going when you get this as well. Donald Trump bankrupted his Atlantic City casinos, but still earned millions. So let's start with the first one and the first couple of topics. First is basically you can gamble on everything these days, be it from the elections to sports, and then you guys know this, the stock market. We talk about markets all the time on the channel. I don't say, hey, these are the hottest options of the week, but I know there are plenty of channels out there that do that. And I'll just be honest with you guys, you can make money on that stuff doing it, but it's really, really risky. It's also very addictive. That's sort of why, just for my own personal health, I don't talk about options all day, every day. And frankly, I don't touch that stuff. The other thing for me personally, whenever I make any trades, I do it all on the computer. If I start doing stuff on the phone, I'll never put the phone down, and I have my phone with me all the time. So that's sort of one thing that I've addressed in my personal life, never on the phone. And that's just me. But I think for the young generation where everything's phone based, it becomes part of their regular lives that essentially they're, again, playing options, doing sports betting or whatever, like all of the time. This actually gave a number. It says the American Gambling Association, 55% of surveyed adults said they had participated in some sort of gambling over the past year, and 49% that was in 2023. So that rates are increasing. Essentially, you also have the deregulation of these kind of things, be it with your sports betting or how things are promoted and where they're promoted. I'm not actually sure if we have laws. I'm just not sure. And you guys can fill me in. Sometimes I just talk out the top of my head and I'm not sure. But if we have laws where like, hey, you can't promote sports betting to kids, because I was thinking back to this stuff, and there's some words I don't say on YouTube because I don't want to get flagged. But I think younger and younger age are getting involved with these things. This article here, the one about this is out of the Wall Street Journal today. They were saying there's like a meetings in Manhattan to where it's kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous, and they do it with basically Gamblers Anonymous, where people come and they send a reporter to this thing. It was like a room of 60 men. It's mostly dudes who do these kind of things, these risky behaviors, and you have to basically come out and say, hey, my name is Chris. I'm addicted to options and I have a problem. Like there's people who really have serious problems with that. And I say this stuff in all sincerity because I completely understand how addictive this stuff can be. Be it, like I said, when it's on your phone and you make a trade, and like Robinhood was the worst, really, where it would show you like fireworks symbols and that kind of thing. And it can be highly, highly addictive, right? They gamify the whole, industry. The thing is, like during the pandemic, people were making tons of cash all sitting at home, and even today, be it your stocks, your cryptos, your Teslas, or whatever, that stuff can go up like nuts. We've been witnessing just this last right past the election, this last I guess month or so, where things just went crazy. We all been witnessing it, and I've been covering this quite a bit, and I just wanted to talk about a different angle of it because. This thing came out of Fox today. Now, this particular study that they're citing, I actually read the thing. It comes from a conservative website, so just do be aware of that, and they have their bent on it. But the fascinating numbers that they gave, though, were basically saying that there's a bunch of working age men that just gave up on working. And it was interesting. They called it native born. So basically, if you're American citizen born in USA, they're saying, according to their numbers, they're saying working age is between 16 to 64, and in the 1960s, people who just weren't looking for work or out of the workforce were 11%, and now it's like in this year is 22%. So like 1 out of every 5 dudes is just giving up on working or not working, right? And to be fair, some of these people might be retired, but I think in this day and age, to be, say, healthily retired at the age of, say, 64, there's not as many as there used to be. And I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts, because I've heard a lot of people in my neck of the woods, to where like they just get bored if they weren't working. So it's not necessarily that they've quit. How can I say? It's like when you get to a certain age, it's not like you necessarily just want to just hang up my shoes or whatever, hang up my cleats, I guess the way to say it, and just quit working. I mean, you'll see it, people on TV, be it in sports. I'm just thinking about news broadcasting, etc. Like a lot of elderly people are still working. You guys don't know, I'm 49. I'd be bored if I just sit around and I guess lay on the beach all day. We do actually live at the beach, but I think there's something to be said for productivity. So when I see these numbers of, again, age 16 to 64, 1 out of 5 of these dudes aren't working. I think they're, I don't think it's just people who are retired. I think there's a real problem there on that. And then you put that together with Trump coming to the office, and it's a casino owner, and we'll be pushing more sort of policies and agendas to appeal to that group of people. Then you put this together with a couple of headlines that also just came out today, and as I just kind of connect the dots and share some thoughts on this stuff. Party cities going out of business. This is like I've never actually, I'm trying to think if I've ever been to one of these things. I've lived in multiple states in USA, but there's certain stores I just don't go to that often. But I guess this was like the big costume store, birthday party store, that kind of stuff. There's actually quite a bit of these that was open for 40 years. They're going to close 800 stores, I guess. 5,700 full-time workers, 9,500 part-time workers. Is going to be all over the country. Big Lots, I guess, is closing a bunch of stores also. That's 900 stores. Similar kind of situations, right? You have a downturn in the economy. You also have everyone's buying stuff online. And the first thing that came to my mind when I was thinking about these closing of stores was just that's right, a nice way to say it. Well, I'll just play it. It's gonna be ugly. It's just, you're just gonna have these, like, it's kind of like, because I grew up with Kmart, and I don't know if how many people are young or old to actually remember Kmart, or remember Mervyn's or Blockbuster Video, or whatever stores come and go, right? But like the Kmart situation, I've seen many lots in the USA, and like a parking lot where it's just abandoned, and no one really repurposed that land. I think there's a bunch of land out there, and this is like, say, with the Big Lots or the what was it, on Party City closing, that they may have central locations in cities, that they should repurpose these things. I think the situation is got to be different in USA in terms of rezoning, compared to, say, here in Korea, where we live. I'll give you an example. We had how do I want to say it? It's not an outlet mall. We'll just say like a discount department store. That's a good way to say it, or outlet department store. I guess you could call it that. But they have these things in Korea where they're not like way out in the middle of the city. They're not like way out in nowhere. Sometimes you have the outlet mall is farther away from the main city, but they're kind of in the middle of the city, and sometimes even next to the regular department store, and even carry a lot of the same brands. It's just kind of the discount version of that. That one closed, I don't know, 4 months ago here in Korea, and I guess they're going to turn it into a bunch of apartments, essentially. And then we actually have a bigger department store, a main one. That one's closing as well, and that one's in prime real estate, and there hasn't been any word on what they're going to repurpose that at. So I was mentioning that because I think the laws here must be really, really different for repurposing from, say, commercial to residential. It's just maybe they can do it much faster. Who knows? It's just different. Whereas in USA, that those things get slowed, because we also have all of these situations where the people who used to work in offices who now went work from home, and you have like these essentially abandoned downtowns of prime real estate. I think a lot of these changes that you're seeing, for some people, it creates a ton of anxiety, be it economically, right? So maybe that was your main job at Big Lots or Party City. And then, what are you going to do now? Maybe this, for example, you might convert over to work over to Amazon. But we just talked about yesterday with, say, Amazon workers are going on strike. Someone mentioned, actually, multiple people mentioned, I just want to mention it, that I read you guys' comments. I read all your comments, to where, hey, why is anyone talking about that? Amazon doesn't treat their workers well. And I'm bringing it up. Yes, I've heard those reports as well, that Amazon doesn't treat their workers well. And I think when you think about the issue, say, with Trump coming into office, there's going to be more monopolies, more mergers, these kind of things. And Musk fits in this as well. You also have the transformation of America, where basically your boss treats you like crap, and you don't have many choices of where to work. So that's cultural situation. So I understand why many people will say turn to the sort of gambling culture because they see that as like an avenue out. One of the guys who was at the Gamblers Anonymous thing, as mentioned in the Wall Street Journal article, they said, when they hit like $1 million or something like that, they thought to themselves in their mind, that's 4 Lambos. Like it's literally like that kind of goes through their mind. And I always make joke about the Lambos and that kind of stuff, but that's probably the majority out there on social media. The people who flash that kind of stuff, and it puts pressure on those watching. They're feeling like, well, why don't I have the Lambo? Why I'm doing those kind of things? But much of what you see on social media is frankly unhealthy culture. And I try my best to inform you guys, educate you guys every day, and talk like a regular human being. I think much of what you see on social media is not real, to be perfectly frank. The way they talk is like, do honestly people talk like this? Like, and you'll know which channels you're talking about. They basically just like wave their hands in the air and they're like exaggerate talking, that kind of stuff. And sometimes people say my channel is boring because I talk like a real human being. I don't know, but I was thinking about that because it exasperates the problem, right? If you're a young person out there these days, and you're like, why don't I have the Lambo? And I see everyone on social media has a Lambo. You just feel like you're further than her behind, but frankly, it's not true. You're probably actually doing okay. You're probably doing maybe even better than okay, but you don't feel like it because you're comparing yourself to someone that's not real, and you also don't know what their situation is. You never know what someone's situation is. And then I talk about the Musk or the Trumpy situation, and the thing for me that I think is very damaging to you say young dudes these days is they're idolizing these people who have multiple kids, multiple divorces, multiple women, and they think that that's a good thing. And it's odd to me. And they also idolize these people who are really into firing their employees. They brag about how awesome they are at firing their employees. If you guys remember the Apprentice show, and that's when I remember the first season because I think that's all I watched was the first season. That's the Donald Trump show. But that was the whole show. He just likes to say you're fired, and that was like the entertainment part of the show. It was just entertainment. But think about like that is the culture coming in the 2025 again. That group of people out there who idolize these wealthy individuals who were born rich, enjoy firing people and having multiple children with a bunch of women, and also too of we'll just put it this way. Some words I can't really say comfortably on YouTube, but we'll just say this: have been convicted of some very serious things, which I never make jokes about at all. And I'll just say this: I have been with my wife for years and have a healthy respect for women, and I don't think enough dudes come out and portray that well enough. There's too many people out there that again portray that sort of really negative living lifestyle, and for whatever reason, all these young dudes are aspiring to be like that, and I think that's a real disservice to the young people out there these days. So I just wanted to throw these sort of cultural things out there. You know, I know we talk about markets, but this stuff is directly related, but in a more of a cultural sense, and sort of why people are feeling the way they are, be it the economic pressures to either participate in this gambling culture or feel the economic pressures of everyone else is succeeding and they're not. But I just want to remind you that just be careful out there. Some of the stuff you see, or many of the stuff you see on social media, isn't real. Be it from your Tesla stock promoters telling, all bragging about how many Tesla Cybertrucks they drive around and how they're, swimming in the cash. It's not real. And these people are often paid to tell you these kind of things. So just be careful out there. And I want to hear your thoughts on this, and I'll catch you on the next video.